Tutorial 12 is the last in the series of tutorials for Success in 80 Days. Still on our instrument panel, we're now going to look at the other two pods, if you like, instrument pods, which we start with the customer. Customers can be considered more important than products. In other words, if you have good relationships with loyal customers, you can generally source products to meet their needs. Customer processes have already been considered. You understand your customers, you understand their needs, and you thereby, provided you maintain good relationship with those customers, could find suitable products either from your own range or perhaps even from third parties. Here we're concerned with the customer's influence on the cash situation of your business. One of the most fundamental statistics you should really have available is the cost of customer acquisition, also referred to as the cost of sales. Now this figure fluctuates in line with seasonal factors, marketing campaigns, competitor challenges, and so on. And therefore, it's wise, if you can, to monitor the cost of sales across these. So in other words, monitor your cost of sales as they're impacted by seasonal factors, or they're impacted by different marketing campaigns, or what happens when competition challenges with changes in their strategies. Growing sales figures by themselves may sometimes mask an underlying flaw. If the average order value is falling, your apparent business growth is therefore depending on ever-increasing numbers of new customers, accompanied by their associated costs to do with acquisition. This will probably show up elsewhere as well, in terms of falling margins and increased fulfillment costs. Mapping order value in relation to different products, different marketing programs, competitor activity, and so on may actually identify the reasons for this. Obviously, continuously increasing the average order value will have the opposite effect. In other words, higher margins, lower per unit fulfillment costs, and consequentially much better profitability. Car manufacturers are actually masters at increasing a sale value with their model versions and their list of options. The domestic appliance sector works this well also, with extended warranty upgrades. The next group of figures are related to the costs of servicing the customer and are another area, again, too often neglected. Once the sale is made, the cost to your businesses are continuing. And I've personally known businesses where the cost of fulfilling the sale are greater than the cost of goods and the cost of sales. Fulfillment costs need to be especially monitored. In the case of a physical product, attention falls on storage, pick-pack processes, and the whole delivery sequence. In the case of digital products, many businesses neglect the cost of payment processing. This can be particularly punitive on low-margin digital products, as it's actually calculated as a percentage of the retail value. And this is especially so if you are a reseller, where a thin margin could actually work out less than the cost of actually processing the payment itself. Having made the sale, incurred your cost of goods, the cost of sale, and your fulfillment costs, your business is for the moment actually out of pocket in cash terms until the customer makes payment. Too many businesses only focus on getting more sales, pretty much leaving it up to the customer to pay. Generally, this means that chasing payment is delayed and therefore becomes a much more unpleasant task. Systemizing the collection of payment right from the date of fulfillment itself achieves two things. First of all, cash is in your bank sooner, and the whole process is much more depersonalized. The cost of cash collection, whether the hit and miss or the systemized approach, should generally be factored into your knowledge in terms of customer relations. For example, is there a greater cost of collection from certain customer demographics? Or do seasonal factors affect payment delays? The last item of customer information we've considered is the cost of servicing the customer base of the business. This can vary from negligible to excessive. I personally got involved in a business whose account management team grew to become one of its greatest costs, yet they rarely generated new sales. They simply looked after customer implementation and support. In fact, this highly skilled function should have become a product, in other words, a valuable service, and therefore charged for. So a high cost of servicing and supporting customers can be an important indicator of a need to change the pricing structure or the business model. Now, I've deliberately left product until last in our review of a classic management dashboard. In your logbooks, we explain that far too many business owners overly focus on their products, often to the detriment of other dimensions equally vital to the success of the business. So, covering product now is not to imply that your products are less important than everything else, but to emphasize that everything else must also be in place and operating effectively. I'm sure you'll agree that the world's shelves groan under the weight of great products that ended up costing a business a small fortune. In terms of products, we'll gain from understanding the varying gross margin that our products are generating for the business. For example, a range of products enables the cross and upselling of existing customers, and this should demonstrate increases in gross margin contribution due to a lower cost of sales and perhaps even a lower cost of fulfillment and customer service. So the first thing to understand is the cost of goods by each product. We need to know how much of a product's sale is available to us to run the business and to leave us with some profit. In the case of physical goods, there's usually a cost of holding them, although business models also exist, such as drop shipping and franchises, which actually may avoid this. As well as the more obvious costs of warehousing, you should also consider the cost of working capital that is tied up by holding inventory. Thus, the number of days that products are held before shipping is particularly important, especially if you're servicing a loan or an overdraft. In a few extreme circumstances, I've known products with an extremely low sales margin cost more in terms of the combined cost of warehousing and overdraft than was being earned as gross margin. In other words, they were being sold at a loss even before allocation of overhead to their sales. You need to know which are your current best-selling products. These will almost certainly relate to your marketing and to your sales systems. If a different product becomes your bestseller, you may wish to therefore divert marketing spend towards this one. A low-selling product may benefit from being combined with a top seller. perhaps in a special offer, and so on. And the last item listed here is gross profit or gross margin. As an example, this is important when weighing up where to focus your marketing efforts. Let's consider a situation where your top seller is a low margin item. However, your number 3 carries your highest gross product. So think about this for a moment. It's worth repeating, and it shows the value of true 360 business awareness. So again, let's consider a situation where your top seller is a low margin item. However, your number 3 seller actually carries your highest gross profit. There's obviously a number of alternative strategies available here, but the most important thing is that you at least now know the options for action that you and your crew have. And that last point really succinctly reflects the core principle about your information process. Most business owners are intelligent, they're competent individuals who have the capabilities to be successful, but they lack the tools, the techniques, and most importantly, the information, enabling them to do so. These, together with the whole business mindset you'll be developing, will give you the confidence to A, build a business that's heading towards substantial success, and B, stop investing in a business that's only marginally successful, or worse, barely surviving. We can safely say that provided you're using success in 80 days diligently, it will be entraining in you a business mindset, and you'll begin to see your business from an entirely new and much more comprehensive perspective. And also, purely as a byproduct, you're actually re-engineering your business and turning it again to success.